bring it.
Yeah, no problem.
And we are gonna be live. So I'll try to go closer to the microphone for you, Pat.
Okay.
And we shall see. Here we go. Welcome to the Metal Voice. Today on the show, big news. Plus the top 10 Judas Priest albums. My guest today, actually I got a special guest. I got Pat Gesualdo all the way in New Jersey, and we got Stefanos all the way in Athens, Greece. The leader of Judas Priest Elas, which is Judas Priest Greece fan club. But Pat, first things first. I know, Pat, you don't have a lot of time today, but I wanted to have you on just to talk about the Judas Priest induction into the Hall of Heavy Metal History. And also, everyone out there, please tell me if the audio is okay. This way we can adjust it accordingly. So, Pat, tell us about the Judas Priest induction into Wacken 2018 that just happened recently.
Yeah, hi Jimmy, hi Seth. Yeah, hi everybody. What a great honor, right? Again, we've partnered with Wacken to do one of our inductions there live. You know, what a great honor, and especially having Judas Priest. You know, we've been working on this. We almost had him at last year's ceremony, but Rob had to cancel last minute, unfortunately. So we just figured we would do it at Wacken this year, and worked out fantastic.
All right. I mean, I saw the pictures. Let me see if there's a picture here I could put up for everybody. And I know I sent you this picture, and I'm going to put it up for everybody to see. You can actually see Rob and Scott and Richie holding the Hall of Heavy Metal History, the sort of the award, what do you want to call it, the plaque/award, in their hands. I know there's a video up. You know, there's no volume. Unfortunately, there was like a narrator sort of giving the whole update, or like the sort of wrap up of all of Wacken during the day, and he kind of like talking over Rob, so you can't really hear the band. But hopefully, there's a video clip out there that we could, you know, hear soon. I mean, this is big news. And also, I just want to throw this in. Doro also, she was inducted into the Hall of Heavy Metal History. These are two huge acts. And Doro actually accepted on stage. Any thoughts on that, Pat?
Yeah, again, what a great honor with Doro, too, right? I mean, she's been holding that flag forever and carrying it for, you know, metal fans everywhere, as of Priest, as of even Ross the Boss, you know, from last year, as we inducted him on stage as Global Metal Ambassador. So Ross really kicked off the whole thing for us, and yeah, it's just, you know, fantastic. And again, you know, Priest, they finally get the induction that they deserve. You know, they've been overlooked, unfortunately, in the past from other places as of last year. And that's what makes this so special, too, without a doubt.
So there you have it. Judas Priest inducted into the Hall of Heavy Metal History. Stay tuned, more inductions to come. Very exciting. Hopefully there'll be a ceremony this year in January during NAMM Week. Very excited for that. But I'm sure there'll be more surprises on their way. Pat, I know you're a busy guy. You told me you just have a few minutes today. Thanks for being on the show. You know, always appreciate it. We'll have you back on, and we will talk about more of the Hall of Heavy Metal History.
Yes, Jimmy, thank you so much. Great honor as always. Steph, take care, buddy, in Greece, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, man. There you go. That's Pat Gesualdo, CEO and founder of the Hall of Heavy Metal History. And there you go. Now we got Steph. Steph. Now we're back to Steph. Good old Stefanos in Athens, Greece. He is the, I guess he's one of the guys who runs the Judas Priest fan club in Greece. Judas Priest Elas. He's met Mr. Rob Halford multiple times. He's met the band multiple times. And lately, Steph, just quickly, tell us about the show in Athens, Greece, where Judas Priest played the festival, which was Rockwave, which has happened like in the last week of July, I think, or the second to last week.
Yeah, it was 19th of July.
Yeah.
Great show, great show. Like, there are no words. You know, whenever every time Priest hit the stage, they always give it 100%, always. And actually, if you remember, there was a great lineup on that day. Because
yeah.
the same stage, they had Accept, and they had Saxon, and later on Priest. And those bands are my three favorite bands, so it was a dream come true for me.
Yeah, definitely. So again, and after the show, you met Rob Halford. You know, just like casually, he knows you, he knows your wife. He's just like a good friend to you, right? Just another day in Greece.
Let's say acquaintances, not friends.
Good acquaintances.
I don't want to invade his private life, you know?
All right.
He's a very heartwarming guy. He will go the extra mile for any fun.
That's cool. So let's get to it. All right. So today on the show, the top 10 Judas Priest albums. And I mean, of course, I'm going to bring Stefanos, probably one of the biggest Judas Priest fans in the world. And of course, what we're going to do is we're not going to just go 20 albums here. I'm going to give my 5. Stefanos is going to give his 5. We'll get a little rationale why we picked these albums, and then some honorable mentions. All right. So let's start it off. All right, here we go. Number 10. Is everybody ready for this? Number 10. I mean, some people might hate us for this. We both have. Sorry, number 5. Sorry, because we're doing 5 and 5 each. We both have the same 5. So I will put this on the screen. You won't see the Stefanos, but it is, bada bing, Nostradamus. What the hell why did we both pick Nostradamus? A double album, a concept album. Tell me your thoughts on Nostradamus.
Okay. First of all, Priest, I think it may be the only band in the classic heavy metal genre that is so multi-layered in their albums. So they always do different stuff. They don't always do the same thing all over. And when they did Nostradamus, it was something they never done before. Okay, I know it's long, it's a double CD, but in my book, if Hans Zimmer or John Williams wanted to compose a metal opera, they would take lessons from Priest.
True.
So that's why I pick it. It's one of my favorite albums, and it's one of a kind, really.
I mean, think about this. This is their 16th studio album. And of course, the concept is Nostradamus's prophecies, which goes back, back when into the 15 or 1400s. I don't remember when it was. 16th century, that's what it was. It's the first concept album. And I would agree with you. That's why we love Priest, because they change it up. They're versatile. They there's a little bit of operatic there. There's slow songs. There's sort of like songs in between the songs. It's symphonic metal. And you get to hear Rob singing in a different way. Now he's singing more operatic. Yeah. He's singing more to the song. And there was one guy, do you remember this? There was one guy who held the record for listening to Nostradamus for like a year straight. I don't know if it was a year or 10 years. Do you remember that? One guy.
Yeah, I remember that guy, but I think I beat him.
And you know what? It did pretty well on the charts. It did pretty well. So that's our number 5. So let's go to Stefanos. I'll let you go first on this. This would be number 4. I'm going to put the picture up for everybody. And so it's always a surprise when I put the picture up. This is Stefanos' number 4 album. So here we go. Bada bing. There we are. Screaming for Vengeance. So why'd you pick Screaming for Vengeance as your number 4?
Okay, Screaming for Vengeance is, in my book, one of the most definitive Priest-sounding albums of the 80s.
Yeah.
And it was the album that brought them into the US market, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. It was the first album that made them a huge success in the USA, and they wanted it. And so it's a very significant album for the band. Musically, it's more in your face than, let's say, British Steel, and the radio-friendly experiment with Point of Entry.
Yep.
And it's the definition about how you can play heavy metal in 1982.
True. Here I'll give you, and I agree with you. I'll touch on Scream for Vengeance a little later on. Now this is my number. This is my number 4. You ready for my number 4?
Yeah.
My number 4 is, and I'll put the picture up. Hold on. Here we are. There it is. Can everybody see the picture? It's Stained Class. Now here's a great album. I mean, it's kind of like Judas Priest in the I guess before they transitioned into that sort of Painkiller Defenders of the Faith era, right? This is the late 70s. This is their 4th studio album. It was released in February, and it also featured Les Blinks as the drummer, I believe. I mean, exactly. A lot of dark themes, a lot of dark lyrics, and just I'll name a couple of tracks, and everybody just Exciter. Better You by Better Than Me, which is, of course, a cover tune. The song Stained Glass, Beyond the Realms of Death, which is incredible. Anyways, that would be my number 4 out of 5. All right, so let's go to your number 3. And let me just wait. Oh, give me a sec. Let me get the picture ready.
Yeah.
All right, the picture is ready. Give it to me. Go.
My number 3 is Wings of Destiny.
All right.
What can you say about that album? It's majestic, it's adventurous, and it's a super classic. You can say that it's the first heavy metal record.
Yeah.
In terms of heavy and metal. Okay, Black Sabbath opened the gates for heavy music, but if you want, in my book, a definition of what heavy metal is and trace the roots, you trace it in the 70s with Black Sabbath, 1970 and 1976 with Wings of Destiny.
Yeah, cool.
They have Tyrant, they have a Victorian metallic thriller, right, like Reaper. You have Victim of Changes, you have Dreamer Deceiver. It's their own take and a tribute to Deep Purple. You know, Rob Halford's a big Deep Purple fan. And I think it's their own child in time, but done in a Priest way. And when you finish the album with Islands of Domination, you show the world that you are gonna dominate heavy metal.
Yeah, true. So here we go. I'm gonna give you you ready for this? I'm gonna give you my number 3, and a lot of people will love me for this. And I'm gonna put it on the screen here. There it is. You see it? The one, the only. This is the Painkiller. There we go. This is the Painkiller. Now, another album which was, I don't know, now they've gone into sort of like the double bass speed metal, their 12th album, released in 1990. It was, I don't know, I guess this is when the last album with Rob Halford, which was, I mean, talk about leaving on a high note, right? This is like a lot of falsetto, a lot of head voice. It's just an insanely heavy metal album. A return to form for Priest, especially since from their last album. And I'm going to name you some. I mean, the song alone, Painkiller, probably chosen as probably one of the best overall songs of Judas Priest, right? Hell Patrol, All Guns Blazing, a Nightcrawler, Between the Hammer and Anvil, and I think probably one of the best songs is A Touch of Evil. Talk about an insanely well-written song. Chris Tangarides plays a huge role in that. He actually helped to write that song, A Touch of Evil. Probably one of the best songs, again, written by, and it was produced by Chris Tangarides as well. Cypriot. Yes. Let's go to your, what are we at? Your number 2, right? Hold on a second. Let me just pull out a picture here for you. Let me put a picture for you. Here it comes. You ready for this? I'm putting a picture.
Yeah.
Give me your number 2. Boom.
Defenders of the Faith.
There we are.
Okay. What can you say? It's Defenders of the Faith is an English term, but it fits like a glove. If you want to describe the stance of Judas Priest, all these years they exist, because they always, and I can't stress that much, they always said, we are a heavy metal band, even when in time periods that other bands didn't want to be associated anymore with the heavy metal term. So, Priest have, in my opinion, their best 80s record is this one. It just demolishes everything. They are spitting flames, they're all geared up, and it's the only 80s album of Judas Priest that every song was played live.
Yeah.
So the only 80s album.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
They did a special too.
All right, so we're getting close now. For myself.
Okay.
Wait a second, I'm just lost here. What do we do? We just did your number 2, right? Did we do my number 2? No, we didn't do my number 2. So here we go. Let me give you my number 2.
Did.
I'm getting confused. Too many things at once. All right.
Too many great
I'm setting it up. I'm setting it up. Here we go. My number 2 will be, the one and only. It's a no-brainer. Scream for Vengeance. There you have it. Scream for Vengeance. So I'm a little older than you, Stefanos. So, for me, Scream for Vengeance was, like you mentioned before, it is the breakthrough album. This is what broke the album, not only in North America, but worldwide. When I was a little boy in Greece, and I used to spend my time in Greece, it was playing, like everybody knew You Got Another Thing Coming. Everybody knew Run to the Hills, and everybody knew Rock You Like a Hurricane. And No One Like You by Scorpions. And You Got Another Thing Coming, it was the big breakthrough album in the United States. The album sold 5 million copies, probably one of their biggest selling albums. It was their 8th studio album. And to me, things are, when you grow up with... I'm sorry? No! Where's the lid?
Hi, man. How are you? Cheers.
How are you, man?
Yeah, I was expecting him.
We're multiplied. Hold on a sec. I think I have myself here. Look at this. Put him back. Put him back on.
Come on.
This is what people didn't see.
I have a Rob Halford t-shirt. It says bros before hoes.
He's a good friend of mine, and he's one of the most hardcore Priest fans I ever knew.
All right, man. All right. So back to it, again, Scream for Vengeance, it broke Judas Priest worldwide. And, here's the songs. To me, The Hellion, which is probably one of the best intros they've ever had. Electric Eye, you got that Ozzy Osbourne kind of, singing style on that, or the whining, and Riding on the Wind, and of course Bloodstone. And it's just Bob Halligan Jr. would Take These Chains, who did Helix Rock You, and the other Priest song, Heads Are Gonna Roll, and of course, You Got Another Thing Coming, and the high screaming song, Screaming for Vengeance. A masterful album, an incredible album, and there's really not more you can say. Every metalhead has to own this, and if you don't own this, then you should give back your metalhead card and not be a metalhead anymore.
Exactly.
You agree? Okay, good. All right, so Stefanos, we're gonna get your number one pick, and let me set it up. Let me set up the picture here for everybody to see. Here's your number 1 pick. Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay.
Everybody, here it comes. Here it comes. I'm getting it ready, and there it is. Boom. Say it.
Stained Glass.
There it is. Stained Glass. Tell me why Stained Glass.
Because Stained Glass is the blueprint of heavy metal.
Okay.
It's stripped down from every influences Priest had before. It's completely stripped down, and it was during a time when punk music was all the rage, and the only heavy rock and heavy metal band that decided to go against the stream and release an album was Judas Priest. And imagine you are back in 1978 and you go to the record store, you get that album, you put the needle on, and Exciter comes blasting in. It's your brain on the wall, man. It's your brain on the wall.
All right.
And as you said before about Stained Glass, wow, it's you have Invader, you have Sabbath, Beyond the Realms of Death, Sense in Hell, that they now play after 40 years for the first time during that concert. And in my book, it's the blueprint of how you have the pure definition of heavy metal.
Very cool.
And sorry about my English. You know, I'm anxious. You know, I speak better than that.
No, you speak great. Don't worry about it. You speak better English than I speak Greek, so it's all good. That's why we're speaking English, basically.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Here's my last one. Here's my number one. Here it is. There it is. Bada bing. You know, Lego, or you want to call it Transformers. The one, the only Defenders of the Faith. Probably because that's when I was a young teenager. You know, that's the first. Yeah, Scream of Vengeance was the first one as a teenager, but Defenders of the Faith, they came around, and you know, they were touring, and the band was riding high in popularity. It's the dark horse of all the Judas Priest albums. They got it all right. You know, to me, Free Will Burning is the blueprint of all speed metal and thrash metal. To sing like Rob Halford sings on Scream, like, oh my God, it's like he's doing his head voice and he's like singing the phrasing. They call it the vocal phrasing. I don't think this is like a super hard song to sing. And again, some heads are gonna roll. What an incredible song. I mean, again, this was certified platinum, like over 1 million copies sold. And then you have Jawbreaker. And then the Sentinel. I mean, the Sentinel. Think of the vocal phrasing. And I remember for the first time ever hearing Love Bites. Love Bites! It's like crazy. He's screaming away. And of course, you know, Heavy Duty and Defenders of the Faith. It's just, to me, it's everything that is Judas Priest. And, you know, it's everything that's heavy metal and everything that is Judas Priest. And it's a whole variety of songs. And they finally got it perfect in my mind. But that's just my opinion. So everybody out there, tell us what your favorite albums, your top 5, top 10. Send us your lists. I mean, that's our list. I mean, we're just having fun here. We're just, you know, talking some Priest, because Priest has been playing with firepower. Quickly, some honorable mentions and why.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Stefanos. Your turn.
Okay, my honorable mentions are Painkiller and Firepower. I would say British Steel, but I will go with Painkiller.
Okay.
And Firepower.
And Firepower, you know, like Firepower, we got to give it credit. I mean, after all these years, the album is incredible. And I would put Firepower as one of my honorable mentions. If I had a top 10 list, it would definitely be there. Who would have thought? Exactly. Who would have thought after 40-something years, these guys are cranking out, you know, incredible albums, right? And also, I would like to also say that for my honorable mention would be Jugulator. A very underappreciated album. It's not their best album, but definitely, I mean, Tim Ripper Owens comes in and he just kills it. I mean, and you think of how dark this album is. Bloodstained, Death Row, Burn in Hell, Bullet Train, Cathedral Spires. I would definitely put that in the top 10 list, and I put it before Jugulator. I think it's a really underappreciated album, and a lot of people like to pick on it. A lot of people like to say, oh, Tim Ripper Owens, blah, blah. No, man, Tim Ripper Owens kills it. And if you would have had more the opportunity to contribute song-wise, I think it would have even been better. What do you think?
About Jugulator.
Yeah. Do you have any other honorable mentions?
I have a few, but let's stay on Jugulator. Jugulator is another proof that Priest always did their thing, and they didn't do the same album all over and over again. Yeah. Just like we talked before about Nostradamus, or Turbo, or Jugulator. Yeah, they always try
Let's throw in turbo here. Hold on a sec. Let's throw in turbo. You just mentioned turbo. Everybody hates turbo. I mean, you know, it's not a bad album. It's really not a bad album. It just has a lot of weak songs on the album. Like Out in the Cold, even the song Turbo Lover, it's not a bad song. It's just the lyrics are kind of childish and sometimes, you know.
Great song.
I'm sorry?
It's a great song.
Yeah. I'm just like, what do you think about Turbo? Tell me about Turbo.
It's my go-to feel-good album. When I want to feel better or I'm feeling like a party, so I will put on Turbo.
Yeah, and you know what? I bought the Turbo Deluxe version, and I love the sound. It's funny because I remember when it when it was released, and you probably don't remember this, but it was like they were trying to get Turbo into the clubs. They wanted to get like an extended version of it, so the dance clubs would play Turbo. And you know, like when you're a metalhead. By the way, how do you like my shirt? It's Armored Saint. You like that? Look at that. I picked it up. Just want to show everybody. Yeah, a little plug for the Saint. Breaking the what? Breaking the what? I just like saying that. Want to hear it again? Breaking the what?
I know.
I'm not going to scream because my house will wake everybody up here. But back to Turbo. Yeah, it's very... Turbo is... I don't know if the word is underrated. I just think that a lot of people like to pick on it. It's strange because back then, things were becoming more glam, more polished, and people were using keyboards, but Judas Priest didn't want to use keyboards, like, you know, playing on the keyboard. So what they said was, what can we do? We'll use our guitars, and the guitars will sort of like have the keyboard effect or the sounds. So this way you're still playing guitar, but you have the keyboard sounds, and Maiden did the same thing. And it was a digitally recorded album, Turbo. So you could tell that it's not organic, you know, if you know what I'm saying. It was not a very organic sounding album. So let me see some comments here. And if I'm talking too much, feel free to, you know, what do you think about Ram It Down?
Ram It Down, okay. You got a great title track. I think it's the best duel KK Downing and Glenn Tipton ever did on record. Those solos in Ram It Down are out of this world. And you have songs like Heavy Metal and Come and Get It.
Yep.
And Hard as Iron that paved the way for Painkiller.
Yeah.
And got also Blood Red Skies.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be one release with turbo, twin turbos.
Yes.
But record company didn't went for it, so they broke up the albums. What was left from the harder hitting stuff on turbo was put in Ram It Down.
Yeah.
And it's an underappreciated record in my book. Sounds flat. Production sounds kind of flat. But the musicianship is great. And from friends that are older than me and saw Priest in Ram It Down tour, they say that they never seen the band on fire like that since then.
Yeah, true point. That's a good point. I mean, they were having some hard times back then. They did, on Ram It Down was Johnny Be Good, which was a re-recording for a movie. That was an American movie. It was like a really bad movie, but...
They made a mistake
what?
Not giving Reckless to Top Gun movie.
Yeah. And okay, and I just want to pick your brain on this, okay? I want to ask you about this. You know, here's another controversial album that Priest fans tend to love or hate, but more hate. But there are fans who love it. Point of Entry, you know? Point of Entry. I mean, with the exception of Heading Out on the Highway and Desert Plains, which are incredible, I mean, the album kind of like a lot of people, you know, they're just not too crazy about it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's not that so good record. It's let's say an okay record. But when if Another band was in Priest suits back then, and they had Pretty Still. They will follow up with the same fucking album.
Yeah.
Priest didn't do that.
Yeah.
And they tried something else. There was pressure from the record company for sure for more radio-friendly hits.
Yep, you got it.
Okay, everyone gets pressured at some point, and they gave in. But in retrospect, I'd say half the album are very good. The other half you can do without.
All right, let's look at some comments here because I kind of neglecting the comments because we're talking too much here. Tom says, British Steel, number 2 for me. For me, British Steel is number 1. We'll talk about British Steel in a second. Tom is saying, number 1 is Killing Machine, Hellbent for Leather. Frank is saying, I always love Point of Entry, very diverse album. Metal Freak for Life, Screaming for Vengeance, and Defenders of the Faith are my big headaches. When it came to my favorite 80s Priest record, however, Defenders won for a bit because of Sentinel. Sentinel's great, and probably one of their best songs ever. Tom is saying, bad cover on Defenders. Okay, yeah, it looks like, what do you call those? The Transformers. Very popular back then. Low Bo is saying, greetings from Finland to States and Greek. So, Yasuret Tikanis Kala. Okay. Blizzard of Randy says, Tom, you're joking. Their best covers art is it Defenders? Oh, he's saying it is his favorite. Freak for Life. Love Bites is almost industrial sounding. Insanely smart songwriting.
Yeah.
Love Bites. Love Bites. And
I agree.
Jern is saying underrated songwriting. I guess that would be for Defenders. Blizzard is saying Love Bites, kicks ass. Low Bo is saying they turn guitars half step down. I wonder, was it because of Halford's voice? I'm not sure which album he's talking about. Maybe the Ripper years is tuned down. Ram It Down is underappreciated. Well, you know, it's not a bad album. It's maybe it is underappreciated, but it's not their best, I would say.
You know what, Jimmy?
What?
They have so many records, and it's as you see in the comments, everyone has their own favorites, and that's a sign of a really good band, because you will never get the same list. You will never get it.
Yeah, and that's the magic of Priest.
So, yeah, exactly. And if you ask me next week, maybe I will give you another top 5. Depends on my mood.
All right. And how's this? Let's go to, I'm still going through the comments here, by the way. I get a feel-good mood with Turbo. That's what Metal Freak says, like you. Exactly. I kind of agree with Tom. Okay, there's a little debate going on here. Metal Freak, Out of the Cold is killer. I agree with that. Metal Freak, Ram It Down is probably the best forward for Painkiller. Stephanos, you took these words out of my mouth. Look at that, Stephanos. Look at that, Stephanos. The people love you. Tom, Point of Entry is my number 9 album from Judas Priest. And let's see what else. That's pretty much it. So, there we go. I'm just trying to think if there was any more albums that we kind of missed that were, you know, sort of controversial in their career. I mean, with the exception of Rock'n'Rolla, which was their first album. British Steel. This is what I wanted to get to. Now, for me, you know, I don't hate the album. I just think that, you know, when this was their 6th album, released in 1980, and it kind of went disco for me. You know, it had that disco beats there. You know, the production was it was metal, but there was, you know, lurking in the background a couple of disco beats, or trying to get really mainstream. Maybe not disco is a bad word, but they're trying to become more commercial and mainstream. Metal Gods is probably, you know, my favorite track. Breaking the what? Breaking the what? Grinder, I think, is maybe a little underrated. And Living After Midnight, the big hit. Your thoughts on British Steel, Stephanos?
Steeler. One word.
Yeah, Steeler.
You have in 4 minutes and a half how much is the song. It's you get in that duration, you get the whole new wave of British heavy metal thing that follow it. Yeah. And you get it by Priest in Steeler.
Yeah.
Here it is, take it and go play, make bands and play heavy metal.
Yeah. Also, another song that don't have to be old to be wise, which I think is a great song. Grinder. I just one thing about I think they have a lot. It's a good album, like British Steel. However, I just think that it's been sort of like everybody's favorite Priest album, and I think they have better than that. I think they have better albums than that. But it's a great album, nevertheless. It's a good album.
Painkiller.
What's that?
I think the same when someone tells me, Painkiller is the best album of Priest. No, it's not.
Yeah.
They have better albums than that. And I know it's hard hitting and it's more easy to be, it's hard hitting. It's test songs all the time. It goes balls to the wall, but it just shows one side of Judas Priest. Yeah. And Priest have many sides.
And the last one would be Redeemer of Souls. I was when the Redeemer of Souls first came out, I was very excited because it was probably like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 years since they came out with an album, and the hype, and you're hearing a couple of tracks, you're so excited that you loved it more when it was released than it is today. So for me, I got overexcited. I was so happy they were coming out with material, and I kind of like rated it a lot higher than it is today because I don't listen to it much, and I found that the production is horrendous. It really is terrible. I mean, it sounded like somebody recorded in their basement. If it was properly recorded with a great producer, I think this album would have been one of their best albums. What do you think?
But no Redeemer of Souls, no Firepower.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like Ram It Down and Painkiller.
Yeah. You can't, from your mistakes, you make better albums, at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, what does everybody else think out there? I mean, was the production like probably the worst production since Rockarola? I mean, it's terrible. It sounds like a tin can. It sounds like it was phoned in. Like it sounded like it was truly the worst production for a band of their stature. For a band as big as Judas Priest are, to come out with a production like that is just, I don't know, a slap in the face. But the songs are good. That's what I want to say. The songs are
even
good.
Live.
Exactly. I will not knock the songs. I'll just knock the production.
You heard Battle Cry, the live.
Oh, Battle Cry.
Yeah, and you get Juggernaut or Halls of Valhalla played live, and it's wow. It's more bands, more. How do you say it? More powerful.
Yeah. And I think let's end off with this, okay? Let's end off with this. The current situation of Judas Priest, there's really nobody left, right? I mean, from the original guys. If we could even exclude Rob. But I mean, from the first album, it's just Rob now.
No.
How long will they continue?
It's Kenny Hill.
Sorry, yes. I'm sorry. He's been around from the first early days before even Rob was there. You're right. My correction. My bad.
Before even Glenn Tipton and...
Yes. When Al Atkins was in the band.
Yeah.
Good old Al.
I don't know if he watches, but hi Al, how are you doing?
Maybe he will. Maybe he'll watch. I would watch if I was him, definitely. Anyways, actually, let me read some comments. Tom, Redeemer did not sound odd. Not a bad album, just decent. Fraser, do you think Judas Priest is going to call it quits? And that's what we're getting to right now. There are really, with the exception of Ian Hill and Rob, and I mean, the band's just holding together as much as they can. How long, I mean, you've seen the band. You talked to the band. How long do you think these guys could hold on? Another album, another tour? How long more can they go? They're getting old. They're getting almost in their 70s now.
Okay, I can only speculate on that because, if you see them up close, they don't care about their age, they want to keep doing it because it's the only thing they want to do. They will die if they stop doing it.
Yeah.
They love doing it. And I don't know what exactly they're going to do, but I think that in 2019, there's 50 years of Judas Priest.
Yeah.
And we will learn what are they going to do afterwards when the 50th anniversary passes.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. And
That's their,
yeah, sorry.
that's their.
I would say as long as they're still alive and they're healthy, you know, and I mean that in a positive way. I agree with Tom. Tom saying that Halford said that there might be another album. I think they will do at least one more. I agree with you. As long as they're healthy and everyone's still, you know, alive, I guess, in a good way.
It depends on Glenn, actually. It all depends on Glenn. Because, okay, Glenn, maybe he will not tour that much anymore and play some 2-3 songs because he has Parkinson's disease.
Yeah.
But the answer in that and why they keep doing is if you watch some videos on YouTube and see Glenn Tipton coming on the stage during Metal Cats, you will see the purest and biggest smile a person can have in his life.
Yeah.
And that's why they keep doing.
Yeah. You know what? I don't even know why they chose Andy Schneep. I mean, personally, I would have taken a Metal Mike, you know, from the Halford band. You know, I don't know. I just he knows Halford. You know, he's been with Halford. I get it, Schneep. He's an established guy too. But I would have taken somebody more from the family of the Priest than from Andy Schneep. But that's just my call. I know he's a great guitarist. He's a great producer.
Only Glenn Tipton can answer. He chose Andy.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm expecting the book from KK. They're going to send me a promo. It was lost in a shipment, so I'll have the book for KK pretty soon, and I will be reading it, and I will come back to everybody with what I think about it.
Yeah, I will get it also. But okay, let's say that Priest always were a private band, and when they get asked. When are you going to write a book? When are you going to write a book? They always say, we're not going to write a book because some things are better left untold.
Yep.
And KK goes out and does a book. Okay, he's right, but it takes a little bit of the magic, you know?
Yeah. All right, that's it. I think we're going to wrap it up here. We talked about the Hall of Heavy Metal History as Judas Priest was inducted. Stefanos in Elada, Greece, Athens. Ευχαριστώ, Stefano.
Thank you.
No problem. And you know what? Thanks for being on, giving us some Judas Priest insight. Thank you for your top 10 list. And everybody who watched, thank you very much. Tell us your top 10 list.
You guys enjoyed it.
Cool, man. Yeah, it's fun. It's just hanging out. It's great when we're in Canada and Greece and we're just discussing metal around the world. That's what, it's really fun.
That's the magic of metal.
And it was nice seeing you in Athens when I was there just a few weeks ago or a month ago. And pleasure, and we'll see each other again in Greece. Kalispera and Efkaristo. And we will talk soon, man.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.